Hi, this is Dr. Cora Stack again. Cora Stack. I want to talk about my latest contribution, my latest paper, which I'm really proud of. It's called The Irish Constitution in Plain Language, a Citizen's Guide. This video presents the Constitution of Ireland, Bonroch na HÉireann, in clear everyday language, making it hopefully accessible to all citizens. It explains the key articles, principles and rights that shape Irish democracy, from the preamble to the protections of personal freedom and safety. I mean, most of us don't know our constitution, so this is trying to, to try and make the constitution at least some way accessible to ordinary citizens. Purpose: to help students, citizens and anyone interested in Irish democracy understand their own constitution without needing legal expertise. In this guide, you'll learn what the constitution said in plain, direct English, what each article matters, why each article matters to your everyday life, how Ireland's governed courts and power people share power, the meaning of democracy, rights and accountability in modern Ireland. But of course, the official text, the authoritative Constitution of Ireland, is in https://www.constitution.ie. And making this disclaimer, this educational video simplifies complex legal ideas for understanding and civic education. It is not legal advice. Always refer to the official version for legal interpretation. But it's good even just to have this even as a way in to try and understanding the very kind of the language is difficult for people that are not legally trained, and it's like reading Latin and that sort of thing. So we've taken all that's been kind of taken out of it, but we've kept the hidden meaning or the meaning in the just expressed in modern language. But it's just something that hasn't been done before, I don't think. So it's always good to be to be ahead of the game. But so about the author, I'm an award-winning Irish academic with over 28 years of experience in mathematics and education leadership. In 2025, I became the first Irish academic to win the Ramanujan Hughes Nobel Prize winner in Physics Memorial Award for Excellence in Academic Leadership, honouring vision and excellence in academia and education. I'm known for promoting inclusion, accessibility and transformative education through both scholarship and technology, and for excellence, trying to always strive for excellence. So welcome to the Irish Constitution in Plain Language, a Citizen's Guide edited by myself, Dr. Cora M. Stack. This guide brings Ireland's most important document to life, clearly, simply, and more importantly, for everyone. The purpose of the Constitution. The Constitution, or Bonroch na HÉireann, is the foundation of Irish democracy. It sets out who holds power, how laws are made, and what rights, it's the most important thing, what rights every person has. And those rights are embedded in approximately 60 articles. Part 2, the preamble and core ideals. The preamble begins with the people of Ireland expressing their shared commitment to peace, justice and the common good. The people and the state, summarising Articles 1 to 5 using the plain language approach, summary supported by elegant motion graphics or text overlays, How power works, Articles 6 to 29, and for the President, Oireachtas and courts. Now the Oireachtas is combined of two bodies, namely the Dáil and the Senate. So there's the President, the Oireachtas, which is the Dáil and the Senate, and the courts. Rights and values, 5. I cover the articles 40 to 44. They cover personal rights, the family, education and religion with real life examples, freedom of speech, fair trial, and most importantly, equality. That's between 40 and 45, equality under the law. Conclusion: the Irish Constitution is more than a legal document. It's a promise of dignity, fairness and democracy. Understanding it empowers every citizen to participate in shaping Ireland's future. Now, I'd recommend anyone who's going, to vote in the next elections or future elections to read this. If you haven't, or get hold of it, or I'm not asking to, maybe there's other versions of it there somewhere, but get hold of some version of it and read, know your rights, know your constitution. The whole idea here is to take it away from this language which was maybe, acceptable, in 1937 to very modern plain language, which is what they use in America all the time. They use plain language. You don't see them wearing wigs or anything like that or any fancy clothes. They wear plain language and they speak in plain English. When you some of them can be aggressive now. Can be, some of those judges on the TV can be somewhat aggressive, and that wouldn't be my style. But I think no. But I think that So for the full text and updates, visit constitution.ie. That's the important thing, and then that this is my. This is just my quick YouTube video on my latest contribution to helping people understand their constitution and their rights, which I wish I had it myself 20-30 years ago. I wish I had this. There's somebody told me there's this thing there, you can read it and it's very accessible, and it'll explain it, and then you can go to the main constitution for for the exact wording if you wanted to use it. But at least you'll know your rights, because an awful lot of people actually don't know their rights because they don't know the articles in the constitution, because it's so complex, and the language is intimidating, I suppose, for the ordinary person. So I've tried to take the intimidation out of it. Not that it was meant to be intimidating, but if you are not an expert in law, you might find it. I mean, it's like Ulysses, for example, a brilliant book, but I mean, it's so hard to read it. I've always wanted I've always wanted someone particular expert that was in the Senate to translate it, but maybe he'd need permission from the people that have the copyright of that now to translate it into ordinary language, because I think it's what's behind it really. It's what, and the same with a lot of Shakespeare. But I still think reading Shakespeare is better than reading Cole's Notes, for example. So there's no I wouldn't really put the Irish Constitution in the Shakespeare element of literature, but certainly there's no replacement for the original version, and the 1937 version certainly is the gold standard. But it's very difficult to read, and it uses language that we don't really use. Very I'd say archaic language, but language that we wouldn't see every day in the newspapers or in books or anything like that. So it's not that it's impossible to read, but it's not easy. It's certainly not easy, and it's hard to translate it when it's using language and words that you wouldn't hear in everyday life, or wouldn't be familiar with, and I won't mention any of them now. So I hope this helps, and I'd recommend two things that everybody that's that's disillusioned with our system, and I was just talking to somebody there a few minutes ago, and they were saying we're not a democracy anymore, and I've heard that over and over again. So many times people saying, what democracy, there's no democracy anymore in Ireland, and that things will have to change. And it's surprising the number of people that are saying this. I mean, this isn't just one, this hundreds, thousands saying this, and they're ordinary people. They're not people in power, in the circles of power, in the echelons of power, walking around in circles that none of us really are familiar with. So there's only a small number of them, and there's the majority of us. But the huge number now that are saying democracy is like O'Leary, dead and gone with O'Leary in the grave, to use the great phrase of the wonderful W.B. Yeats. Well, let's hope let's hope and pray that something will change, and that Ireland will begin a new direction in due course, away from this descent from democracy to communism, which is more like dictatorship. That's what everybody's saying. I mean, that's what I hear every day. We're now in dictatorship. So is that what we want for the future of our children? Is that a happy place to live in for Ireland? I mean, are people happy living in this country at the moment? And are they happy with the way things are going? I don't think so, with the cost of living. And somebody's paying for all of this, and it seems to be the squeeze middle. We didn't get anything in the budget, though. So, I'm not saying that we could have been bought, but at least someone could have had sympathy with the squeeze middle and how difficult it is for them to pay their electricity bills and all the other bills. But there wasn't any, in fairness, there was no sympathy for the squeeze middle. So I think, and I'm not saying they're the majority of people. They're people carrying everybody else on their back. So anyway, that's the type of person I want to stand up for. A person who goes out to work and has dignity. And I mean, I have every faith in everybody else, but I do not believe that that squeeze middle should be crushed completely by bad laws or bad policies, and they should have a thing called access to justice, which is one of the articles in the Constitution. If you read it, it's one of my favourite. It's the access to justice, and let's see how much power that is in due course.